Christian Mamas. We are 3 Christian moms with a progressive mindset and loving hearts and minds. We are imperfect humans, but we're all loved in God's sight. At some point, we've all felt like the church and Christianity may not have been for us, but God isn't looking for perfection. He's just looking for you.
We are not experts in Christian theology, and we do not represent any particular Christian faith or church. We are simply here to be authentic, and we hope you join us on this journey.
Hello. Welcome back to Messy Christian Mamas. This is Kendra.
This is Kaylee.
This is Ashley.
And we have, I think, a pretty cool topic to discuss today and a guest. More on that guest in a moment. Our topic, so we have elementary and soon to be middle school kids, but today we have a mom that can help us peek into the future with parenting high school, college, and even post-college kids. No pressure. She's been my mentor mom for a while now. The mom, the myth, the legend, and our dear friend, Shelley Jakubowski.
Yay!
Welcome, Shelley.
Hello. One of our BFFs.
Yes, absolutely. We talk about Shelley all the time, not to talk about you like you're not here. We talk about you all the time on the podcast.
I hear it.
We've never said nasty things, though.
Not that you didn't cut out, maybe.
No.
It's all fair.
Yeah, this is the between the break conversations.
Shelley, can you tell us a little bit about your family?
Sure. My husband and I will be married for 25 years this year.
Congratulations.
Yep, thank you. And we have 3 kids. I hesitate because I was about to say their ages and I have to think sometimes. So my daughter, Maddie, is 22. My son, Andrew, is 20. Nope, she's 21, sorry. And my son, the youngest one, Justin, is 18 in a couple of days.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. So we've got post-college, college, and almost a high school graduate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
In days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
So close. So, do you guys have any parenting highs or lows this week?
Oh, today is not the day.
Oh, no.
We are in height tween angst right now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's helpful that I'm also super stressed out right now. So the littlest thing will set me off. This morning I did have one of those out of body experiences where I was fussing at her and yelling at her in the car and literally suspended over my body and was you're gone too far. You're this is no longer about her. This is you venting
Sure.
frustration. But then she opened her mouth and it sucked me back into my body and it was nope, never mind. This is about her. So I was you had just kept quiet, I would have apologized. But nope, you had to bring it back around. But yeah. It's just
I had a bad
this
moment
morning.
today. We had our pictures today for the church directory, and I have this really terrible habit that I really, really, really need to break of asking her something about her appearance, when it's too late to do anything about it.
Oh, oh no.
You know, oh, I've just realized, where's your jacket? And we're driving.
Right,
You know?
Right.
And I just feel, I know that I just embed insecurity in her when I do that. I feel so bad about it. But yeah.
I started keeping shoes in the car because my kids just want to go without shoes.
Yeah.
I've got a high and a low. So I had my kids last week, but my dad just gave me this beautiful bike. It's a Schwinn bike. It's the best bike I've ever had. It's so wonderful. And for the longest time, I've wanted to take my kids on bike rides, and they just weren't old enough to do it. I have to follow them in the golf cart in case they got tired.
Yeah.
And they're finally to the age where they're all let's go for a bike ride. And we all we did it 3 times. Went down to the cul-de-sac and back, and I was just so happy that we could all go on a bike ride.
That's nice.
Yeah, and
I
then
think that's hilarious that you follow your kids in the golf cart. That's the most genius thing.
Yeah, because we couldn't
I've
go
ever
like
heard of.
10
Like,
steps.
I just want to follow
Seriously.
me when I'm walking in a golf cart. Like, that would be great.
Done.
I don't need to turn around and walk back. I can just take a golf cart ride back. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But then the low last week, JJ and Lillian have gotten into this habit of like getting snacks from the pantry and taking a bite and then leaving it. And they did it like over and over and over again. And it was like the end, like payday hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, when that food's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to have to eat broccoli. I'm ready.
You go around and you get all the scraps and you stick it in a Ziploc and say, "There's dinner, buddy."
But I can't follow, like, there's too many of them. Like, I do try to. I try to, like, save the stuff. But, yeah.
Oh, man.
I did have a high this week too. So Liv has really, really, really been wanting to binge the show, which I'm not going to talk about because you guys will judge me if I do. But
Now I'm really curious.
but I finally like relented. I looked up stuff online to figure out, you know, when the bad parts were that she couldn't watch. And
I know it is. We
yeah,
already talked
you know
about
what it is. You know what it is. It's
And
on,
then my face
it's on
was
HBO.
really judgmental about it.
Fair enough. But finally, like, I relented. I had the information, so we sat down and we binge watched several episodes together on Sunday. So that was nice. We got some time. She felt like she got some time invested in her, which is always nice.
That's good.
We had Science Olympiad on Saturday. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
good.
had a good
That's
time.
great.
She didn't place, but she had such a good time.
Was she alternate? Did she?
She was an alternate, and I felt kind of bad because her little pixie best friend was sick, and so,
Oh, so she got
Charlie
it.
actually got to compete
Oh.
on the back of her friend getting sick.
Oh, that's hard.
But yeah, but I mean, she was excited to just go anyway.
See
and
if you
just be
hadn't
there.
gone.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like God kind
Turn.
of threw us a bone because I was so like not happy about driving up there. Although I forgot it was a state competition, there were like teams from 4 hours away that had like traveled to this competition, and I just had to drive 45 minutes. So I'm like getting there like with my coffee, being like, ugh, I cannot believe I had to wake up early on a Saturday, and meanwhile like teams from Savannah had to get hotels and everything. And I was like, oh man, okay, I'll stop whining.
I love it when like it's a good reminder when you're down on something and then you're given a picture of like,
Yeah.
oh, someone's got it worse than me.
Yeah,
Okay.
perspective.
Yeah.
What about you, Shelley?
So I got to bring one of my kiddos home from school this
that's great.
weekend, so that was nice. And he is more of a minimalist as far as his stuff. So it was
that's
super
fantastic.
easy to put all of his
Wow.
stuff in one vehicle and bring it home. It was
Nice.
easy peasy.
That's great.
My high schooler is officially done with his dual enrollment classes, so that's one
Okay.
little check off the box.
And he chose a school.
Yeah, that might be a little bit more on my low. Not that I'm not happy with the school, I am, but I was thinking today, like, how mad I am at, like, August, September Shelley versus, like, if only Shelley would have seen this happen back then, we would be in a better place right now. Because today, he, just before coming here, he got his housing, and he is on a wait list, and he has a very high number, which is not good. So that might be my low, even though I knew it was pretty much coming. So
That's big stuff.
yeah. But that's just me being a procrastinator, and
Well, I will say, after commuting to that school on Saturday, it was
Yeah.
not that bad of a drive early in the morning. So if he has early morning classes, he'll be fine to commute the first semester.
hopefully we'll find something for him,
Yeah.
or it'll come available. We'll see.
Knock
But
on
a
wood.
lot happens,
Knock on
apparently. Yeah.
So, I have a question for actually just you two ladies. Which of your kids were the most challenging babies?
Oh, Addison.
the first one.
She really was. She had colic like forever.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
And she's turned out like so sweet. I think that she just like now that she's older and she can like voice what her problem is, I think she's just uncomfortable with a lot of things that like certain textures or clothes or things like that really bother her, and she can say it now, but when she was a baby she couldn't.
Right.
So she just screamed all the time.
I did not personally experience that, but a friend did, and this was before I even had kids, and I went and watched her son so she could just go on a run.
Yes.
And I was
so
with
like, lose her
him
mind.
for like, I don't even know, not long, and he would not stop crying the entire time, and I just held him and was like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't have to deal with that. My most challenging, I'll just say Justin. He's the youngest. He was a preemie, and he was also diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum, and so we had a lot of challenges.
Sure.
Not just baby, but early challenges, which he is at. I feel like who's your easiest? I feel like mine has gone through highs and lows with each one of them at different stages. So at the moment, even though we're dealing with what's happening next for him, he's easy peasy right now.
Yeah.
So he's making up for how he was early on.
That's great.
Well, then Sophie was like my calmest baby.
Oh,
Isn't
that's
that funny? Yeah,
That
she was
turnaround.
so sweet and so like just quiet and slept all the time, just like the sweetest baby.
But JJ's probably still the least calm of your kids, right?
Well, now he is.
Yeah, for now.
But as a baby, he was sort of like a mixture between Addie and Sophie.
Okay.
So,
That's true. The third one always has to do that, right? Because the first and second are usually on opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Then the third has to find their spots in the middle. No?
I don't know. There's all this stuff out there that you see, like little, memes or whatever about the second child,
Mm-hmm.
And my second child is not my crazy jump off a roof kind of kid. No, he's the chillest of chill. So
I feel like with birth order, I feel like it does kind of stay true that the first two are usually kind of opposite each other. Like, my sisters and I are all 4 years apart, and my sister doesn't follow that. Maybe when she was younger, because she was real social and everything, so she kind of followed more of that outgoing, like, free spirit. But now that we're all older, I don't feel like the birth order matches our personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I'm more the middle child and she's the oldest.
Oh,
the youngest is
interesting.
still the youngest. Like, Kelsey's still
the baby's
the
still
baby.
baby.
Kelsey's still the baby. So.
That's funny.
James is still a baby. He's not a baby.
He literally was laying down in the front row in the sanctuary. I was like, I have
You're
real
a baby.
kids I have to deal with. You're going to have to figure this one out on your own.
That was funny. And my younger sibling is the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that one always stays. So
My
Lillian will
younger
always
sisters
always be the
stay
baby.
Yeah.
My younger sister's definitely the baby of our family, too. She always will be. She has no problem voicing her opinion about anything.
No.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, growing up, because, like, I was the honor student. I was the really responsible. I'm the one who started working at 15. Courtney was the super social, like, always super active one. But we were really, respectful, and, my mom and I went through that whole tween angst thing that Charlie and I go through. I try to shield my mom as much from that as possible because I know it triggers her, because I'm just like, you had to go through this 3 times. I don't want to have to put you through this again. But, like, I do remember, I'm 8 years older than Kelsey.
Yeah.
So I remember being out of, like, professionally working, coming home, and Kelsey was still in high school. And I just remember, like, hearing her talk and looking at my parents like, what? Like, what? I'm 24 and I don't talk like this around you guys. And that's when everything kind of was off the table. And I was like, well, if she gets to, like, I turned back, like, I was 16 again. I was like, well, if she gets to cuss, then I get to cuss. And my mom's like, okay, you're 24 years old. Like, you do you. Like,
Have your kids' personalities changed from the time that they were really little? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them? It sounds like maybe not Addie. She just couldn't communicate it when she was a baby.
I don't know. Addie, she really calmed down a lot. I know you guys don't believe me, but Addie acted a lot like JJ
Yeah.
when she was younger, and then she just really calmed down like the older she got. So
He's going to be like a really quiet, thoughtful
might.
adolescent.
And then, like,
Right.
Sophie became more
We're
spunky, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to like separate like personality versus behavior.
Sure.
Right.
But personality wise, I don't think so. I think you can see who they are now in their little 2-year-old version or 4-year-old version of themselves. Yeah.
I think Liv, too. I think Liv is as well. Same. She hasn't changed that much. Okay, we are in or just beginning the preteen hormone stage of our kids' lives. Are the ages different, Shelley, for boys and for girls? Did you find that, like, hormone stage?
Well, I think I don't know how to answer that question exactly. I have a friend who, talked about like she's a mom of 4 kids and she has 2 girls and 2 boys, and she always thought that her boys went through a harder time than her girls.
Oh.
And her boys are older than my boys, so I kept thinking, okay, here's what I got to look forward to,
Yeah.
And no,
No.
I don't know. I think I don't know that in my own house, I don't think I can separate girl boy so much.
Sure.
Like, I would say maybe Maddie had a rougher time. Maybe she's just more vocal than the boys. I don't know. No.
And how long did that stage last for your kids? I mean, I feel like for girls, it just
She's like,
keeps
we're
going
still-
and going.
I think we might still be
Until
on
you're
that
like,
track.
can you just go to college?
I think lately I've realized, if I back it all the way back to, how old is Lillian?
She's 4.
Okay, so back even further than your kids. So I always thought that the terrible twos didn't necessarily mean 2 years old. I thought it was like a 2-year period of time is what I thought.
3 and 4. Yeah.
It went from, for me, I always thought it went from about 18 months to about 3.5. 1.5 to 3.5. That 2-year period. That's so then I've recently discovered a new thought where it's this 15 to 25. Is this the terrible teens, right? Like you all are in your preteen, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's this transition that happens, and it doesn't happen overnight when we go from being 19 to 20, no longer a teen. I feel like it's just this big long
A decade.
transition.
15 to 25 is a decade.
That's like the hardest.
That's a long
Yes,
time.
Ashley. Yes, Ashley. It's
Panic in her voice.
That's a really long time.
Just think about your own self during that time,
Oh, God help us.
Yeah.
right? Like
So many changes.
hardest time of your life,
I
probably,
feel like I was
right?
born an 80-year-old. Like I was always.
But some
I was
people
pretty calm.
know where they're going,
Yeah.
and some people don't, and that's okay. And I just think that is your transition. Like, there's not this magic thing that happens when you turn 18. You're not,
Yeah.
you're an adult, are you? Here's what it really means to be
Right,
an adult,
right.
So there's like this transition time, I think.
That's interesting.
I feel like my tween years were so much harder on my parents than my teen years.
Okay.
Like, I feel like when I was in middle school, I was garbage. Like, I was so mean to my mom. Like, and it is payback tenfold.
I have a
with-
question for
with
you
Charlotte.
about that. Did your mom ever wish that upon you? Did she ever say,
Oh.
just you wait, Kaylee, you're
Until
going to
you get a
have one
daughter.
just like you?
Oh, it
Yep.
was total self-fulfilling
I feel like my mom
prophecy.
said that to me too, and
Yeah.
I did get
Yeah.
that. Just-
Yeah.
And I feel like now my mom regrets saying that because we live with her. So
Yeah.
she's like, I just brought it upon myself. But I feel like once I got into high school, I really came into my own, and I became really comfortable in my own skin, and I was working. So I feel like I was so much nicer, and I was so much more pleasant, and I had freedom because I was able to drive, and my parents were so excited that I could drive because I had 2 younger sisters, so they were always
Right.
giving me the car, and I was working. It wasn't until I moved away from home, and I was about 21 when I moved away from home, and that's when I started going back downhill, because then it was like too much freedom.
Yeah.
I took full advantage.
My experience was so different from that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, and there was a lot of I'll just say chaos happening in my household up through middle school. And so I was really, really like quiet, and I would even say like subservient in my household until I really hit high school and started gaining more independence and found my voice a little bit more. And then I was not always a nice person once I found that voice to my mom, and we did not get along very well.
Yeah, I keep just hoping that Charlie follows my path.
Yeah.
And we'll just have a really rough few years through middle school, and then high school will hit, and she'll just become much more pleasant. Yeah. And I guess I can just keep telling myself what will happen.
Yeah, I think I got a little sidetracked with how I was answering. I think for me personally, as a kid, middle school was definitely much worse than high school years for me personally. We, military family, prior to moving to Georgia, and so Madison, her middle school years, she was at a different school all 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So she had a transition every year, you know. Yeah. So I
during middle school, when you just feel terrible, it's so hard to feel good.
It was super hard. So I think that she had it rough just from our family situation. Sure. Whereas the boys were in one place, and that made it easier, I think. We were here for them to go through middle school. So
that is helpful. So, Shelley.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
What should we do while our kids are in the thick of this hormonal season? Is there a way to get ahead of it?
What wine do you suggest?
Whatever you like.
What do you just drink?
There's a particular cocktail that you
Tide, yeah. I will say that the funny thing about kids is I think that it's pretty across the board for them to look at their parents as just parents. Not that the fact you've already done this walk yourself. You've already done this. You know, these words that they create, you've been there. You've been a part of the ones that were, you know, your time frame, like all the things. You just don't get it, Mom. Mom, you just don't get, you know, we get it. Yeah. We get it. It might look a little different, right? Like now they have social media. We used to prank call people, you know. Oh, yeah. You know, it looks different, right?
Right. But like your trends
it's the same.
Are the trends that we create.
You're just repeating what we did. You're not cool.
You're literally wearing the same clothes.
Exactly. You did not invent this. Right. Honestly, like I brought up the military thing, and I think for me, like I didn't always live near my mom. Mm-hmm. My mom and I were pretty close. And I think that, again, being in the military, not me, but being a military family, moving a lot, you just kind of learn to establish yourself quickly when you get to a new place. So meet your neighbors immediately, you know, get your kids in activities, find a church, you know, and by doing that, it was kind of decided because we both grew up with stay-at-home moms as well as being in the military for Eric that I would be a stay-at-home mom. And I think, Justin alone I would have been fired many times if I was a working mom. Yeah. But anyway, I was a stay-at-home mom for a reason. -3 is the reason. But anyway, I think that I just kind of learned to find friends as soon as I could, you know, and find your people. And I think the military is what did that for me. And so I think having women in your life that are walking the walk with you, where, you know, like the three of you have kids the same age, is super important. But I also think having like a mom figure, you know, some people no longer have their mom in their life or don't have a good relationship with their mom or whatever it might be. Maybe your mother figure is your grandma or your aunt or just a friend at church, right? Like I feel like I've adopted several here in Georgia, whether they like it or not. And I think every time I've moved to a different town, I find friends that are at the same point in my life as they're at the same point. But I've also always found kind of a mom figure that I adopt. Thinking back to different moves, like, oh yeah, I had, Miss Lynn when I was in San Diego, and Miss Shar when I was in, different place. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just pray, you guys. Just pray.
Just pray.
Just pray. If you need a drink. You'll get through it.
It's serenity prayer.
We just, it's going to be rough, and as long as they know that you love them, and that's not going to change, there's not a whole lot they can do that would ever change that, then I think that's all you can do.
I was thinking we need another term that's like three-nager, but like applies to both three-nagers and actual teenagers, because like the same behavior, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Because like a three-nager, like when kids are acting, like when they're 3 and they're acting all like, I know everything, I can do whatever I want, and they're just trying to be like so independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't change.
No. I told Charlie this morning, because I was like, these teenage years are gonna kill me, and we have banned the phrase "I know" in our house.
Oh my gosh, that phrase.
Especially when she adds
it doesn't
the
change
extra
people. I'm
syllable
sorry.
at the
I need
end.
something for why, when they say why. Like a why jar or something.
I know.
Why? Why?
I'm like, there's no A on the end of it. First off. Noah. I feel like when we've talked about it on the podcast before, I feel like we are so lucky at this church because I feel like there are two very distinct, like, parent groups here at the church. Like, I feel like we do kind of have these moms that have older kids that are really well established and that are really open to us coming to them being like, but please tell us that we're going to survive this. And they're like, you will, I promise. And then there is a really large group of us that all have, especially girls similar age that are in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. There's quite a big group of us right now at the church. So it is nice being able to come to the church. And one of those moms asked you, how you doing? You don't have to say fine. You can turn around.
Just see it on your face,
exactly.
right?
You can just turn around and look at them and be like, I know. I'm so sorry. It's sames.
It'll be okay.
Sames.
For sure.
We had to
It'll
do the
be
same
okay.
thing this morning. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, Shelley, thank you so much for being our guest today on Messy Christian
pleasure
Mamas.
and honor.
And stick around, friends, and next week we will have another episode with our favorite mentor mom, Shelley Jakubowski. So until then, Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Father, thank you for motherhood. Thank you for other mothers. And thank you for our children when they're monsters and when they're sweet as can be. We love them all the same. We pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
We said other mother, not like Coraline, other mother.
Oh, not that kind. No. That's a bad one.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Messy Christian Mamas. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and Instagram. Until next time, embrace the mess, share the love, and shine your light bright, my friends.